let's discuss fractions. And there's a lot of things that we can do with fractions. The first thing is to simplify or reduce. As a reminder, any answer we have that's a fraction, if we can reduce that, we will want to do so. So looking at 40 over 56, well, what numbers go into both of them? Now, there might be more than one. If you're not sure, you can start with a more basic number, and you can also use your calculator to help. Well, I'm pretty sure they're both divisible by 2. I can use my calculator to see if there's anything bigger. They are both divisible by 4. What about by 8? They are both divisible by 8 as well. So whatever we do to the top, we're going to do to the bottom as well. So I'm going to divide them both by 8. So 40 divided by 8 is 5, and 56 divided by 8 is 7. Remember, if you're not sure, check your final answer. Is there anything that divides into both of them? Other than 1, because 1 divides into everything. Here, nothing divides into both of those. So that is my answer. All right, let's look at multiplying fractions. To multiply fractions, I multiply the numerators, and then I multiply the denominators. So here, 3 times 1 is 3, 5 times 7 is 35. Before I box it off, though, can I reduce that? No, I can't. That is my final answer. Now, one trick we can do is we can see if we can reduce before we multiply. So looking at my next one, the second numerator is 4, and the first denominator is 8. I can reduce those. I'm going to divide both of them by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Not only does this give me smaller numbers, which are easier, but if I've reduced everything now, then my final answer should already be in lowest terms. In the numerator, 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 9 is 18. If you've got a 1, then this is definitely in lowest terms. So again, you can start by reducing and then multiplying. All right, let's look at dividing fractions. So dividing fractions is the same as multiplying the reciprocal. So the reciprocal means to flip it upside down. So I'm going to first do that rewrite, at which point this looks exactly like the problems that I've just worked. Can I reduce anything right away? Well, the 6 and the 9, I can divide both of those by 2 to get 2 and 3. Looking at the rest of it, I don't think I can reduce anything else. So 2 times 17, that's 34, and 15 times 3 is 45. Double checking, I can't reduce those, so that is my answer. Let's do another division problem. So again, I'm going to first rewrite that as multiplying by the reciprocal. Remember, it's always the reciprocal of the second fraction. So it's the second fraction that I flip. And here I can reduce the 3 and the 9 by 3. Oops, that's a 1. There we go. And that should be the only thing I can reduce. So 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 7 is 21. That is in lowest terms. So that is my answer. So that is multiplying and dividing with fractions. Let's also look at adding and subtracting. Now, in order to add or subtract, I must have the same denominator. Let's start with ones that already have that, since those are a little bit easier. For these, once the numerators are the same, I either add or subtract the numerators. So 4 plus 4 is 8. I leave the denominator the same. And again, I double check, can I reduce that? I cannot. So that is my final answer. My next one I'm subtracting. Again, the denominators are the same. 15 minus 5 is 10. Now this time I can reduce. I can divide both the top and the bottom by 2, and I will get 5 over 8. Again, please be careful with reducing. If this was a multiple choice question on a test, one of the options might be 10 over 16, which is not the best answer. So again, please make sure that you are in lowest terms. So that is adding and subtracting when the denominators are the same. Now, if the denominators are different, we have to find the LCD, which stands for least common denominator. Now, it's easiest when those two denominators have nothing in common. So here, 11 and 8, my two denominators have nothing in common, so my LCD is their product, which in this case is 88. I'm not going to bother to write it in a fraction. I'm just going to go ahead and write down that LCD. What if they have something in common, though? So my next problem, 9 and 63, I'm pretty sure these have something in common. And let's see if we can rewrite them. 9, well, that's 3 times 3. 63, I'm pretty sure that's divisible by 3. I can use my calculator to check if I'm not sure. And it is. It's 3 times 21. And in fact, the 21, well, that has a 3 in it as well. So in fact, 63 is divisible by 9. I could write that also as 9 times 7. So in this case, one of my terms has the other as one of its factors. In that case, the larger number. In this case, the 63 is my LCD. And again, if you're not sure if it's divisible there, we can use our calculator to check that. Let's do one more example with LCDs. Now I've got 12 and 27. Well, I'm pretty sure those are both divisible by 3. So 12, that's 3 times 4, and 27, that's 3 times 9. So they both have a 3 in common. So when I go to find my LCD, I'm going to list the 3, but I only need to list it once, since they both have it. I am then going to list everything else. So in this case, the 4 and the 9. And then I multiply all of that up, and I get that my LCD here is 108. So those are my LCDs, and I am going to need those in my next few problems. Because if I'm adding or subtracting, and my denominators are different, then I need to get an LCD. So here, 2 and 9, they have nothing in common, so my LCD is their product, which is 18. Now, if I change the denominator, I have to change the numerator by the same amount. So to get from my first denominator of 2 to 18, what did I do? I multiplied by 9. I didn't write it out. I did that in my head. But I am going to write that out in the numerator. So I'm multiplying the numerator by 9 as well. For the second fraction, I multiplied 9 by 2 to get 18. So again, I'm going to do the exact same thing in the numerator. So I've got 9 over 18 plus 4 over 18. Well, at this point, it looks like a problem I've already done. I should hopefully be able to get that. Let's add up the numerators. Check that my answer is in lowest terms, which it is. And that is my answer. All right, let's try another one. I've got 3 and 12. Well, now 3 multiplies into 12. So again, if that is the case, then that larger denominator is my LCD. Well, since I didn't change that second denominator, I don't have to change the second numerator. I am going to have to change that first numerator. So to get from 3 to 12, I multiplied by 4. So since I multiplied the denominator by 4, I have to multiply the numerator by 4 as well. And then let's add those numerators up. I get 9 over 12. I'm not quite done yet, though. That's not in lowest terms. Those are both divisible by 3. So I'm going to get 3 over 4 as my final fully reduced answer. All right, well, those were both adding. Let's try some subtracting problems. 7 and 13, oh, those have nothing in common, so my LCD is their product, so 7 times 13 is 91. So again, whatever I multiply the denominator by, I multiply the numerator by the same amount. So the first one's going to be 13, the second is 7. You'll You'll notice they started as ones, and of course 1 times 13 is 13, and 1 times 7 is 7. And so really the only difference here is I'm now subtracting those numerators, and I get a 6, and that is in lowest terms. So that is my answer. Let's do one more subtraction. This time the 12, well, 6 multiplies up to 12, so my, let's just say LCD, is going to be 12. So I did not change the second denominator, so I also don't change the second numerator, but I did change the first one. 6 times 2 is 12, so since I multiplied the denominator by 2, I must do the same to the numerator, which gives me 10. Then subtracting those numerators, I get 3. I'm not quite done yet though, because I can reduce that. Let's divide both the top and the bottom by 3, and I get 1/4. So again, these are about as tricky as we're going to get. And again, make sure that final answer is in lowest terms. So that is our quick review of fractions.